Teaching yourself motion design is absolutely possible. I did it. But looking back, I wasted a lot of time not realizing the gaps in my knowledge, learning things in the wrong order, and repeating bad habits. I majored in integrative physiology in college and did a minor in technology arts and media. There was a motion design course offered at my university, but I couldn't get it to fit into my schedule, so I had to do it as an independent study. This meant that I had projects that I was assigned to do, but had to figure out how to do them on my own. I ended up watching random YouTube tutorials, anything that looked cool, and piecing together what I knew how to create from those tutorials into the projects that I was assigned to do. Someone could have looked at my animations and recognized which tutorials I had watched, which is not exactly a great way to build a standout portfolio. Because I was watching random tutorials, I didn't learn fundamentals like timing, spacing, and adjusting motion curves in the graph editor until later. So it took longer for my work to look polished and professional than if I had spent time learning those things from the start. So if I had to start over, this is exactly how I'd learn motion design, knowing what I know now after over a decade of being a professional motion designer. First, I'd pick one program to focus on learning. Don't get distracted by other animation software until you've really mastered the first one. You can check out this video to learn more about different animation software, but if you want to learn motion design, After Effects is the industry standard, so start there. In order to learn After Effects, don't just watch random tutorials like I did. That can be overwhelming because of the number of tutorials out there, and because if you pick one that's over your head, you can quickly get overwhelmed and give up. Plus, a lot of tutorials only tell you what buttons to click. They don't explain why they're doing what they're doing. So you spend a bunch of time mindlessly and frantically clicking buttons, which makes it hard to remember what you learned. And then you don't have a deep enough understanding of what you actually did to apply that to other projects. Learning After Effects is twofold: knowing how to operate the software and understanding key animation concepts. This is where courses can give you a huge advantage over trying to teach yourself in isolation without any structure. And this is exactly what I had in mind when I created my course, After Effects Explained. It's designed for complete beginners. You don't have to have any prior experience with After Effects or motion design. The course walks you through the software and foundational animation concepts together in the right order so nothing falls through the cracks. All graphics are provided so you can focus entirely on learning how to animate. It's built around 7 real-world projects that build into a final explainer animation, so by the end you'll have work to show for it. And I don't just explain what to do, but why to do it. So you'll learn how to think like a motion designer and be set up for success in future projects. If you take a course like mine where the graphics are provided, that can be an efficient way to focus on learning the foundational animation skills without having to worry about creating the graphics yourself. The next step in the learning process is to branch out and create more self-directed projects where you have to figure out what to animate and how to animate it using the knowledge that you've gained through taking courses. At this point, you're going to need to come up with graphics to animate. You can find graphics online, but you'll have a lot more control over how your animation looks if you're able to create your own artwork. For this, I recommend learning Adobe Illustrator. You can also animate artwork from Photoshop, but unless you already have experience with Photoshop, Illustrator is easier to learn. Illustrator graphics are vector-based, meaning you can scale them up infinitely without them getting pixelated or blurry. That might not sound like a big deal, but trust me, it makes your life easier in After Effects. You don't need to be good at drawing to be able to create illustrations in Adobe Illustrator. You can build even complex illustrations with simple shapes. Focus on understanding the fundamentals of graphic design. Design is the foundation of any animation. If your design is bad, animating it isn't going to save it. Another important piece to learning motion design is mastering the principles of animation. When I first started animating, I thought these principles didn't apply to the type of work I was creating. The principles of animation were originally developed by early Disney animators, and I was doing modern motion design. But I was wrong. They're not old-fashioned. The principles of animation are the reason why some animations feel alive while others feel flat. Concepts like anticipation, follow-through, and overlapping action can give your work the illusion of life. Next, focus on learning how to communicate through motion. Practice creating projects that don't just look cool, but actually say something. Plan out your animations by creating storyboards before ever opening After Effects. Become a better storyteller. Understand your target audience and what makes them tick. The next phase is to get experience. That could mean finding an internship or job. If you can work alongside other motion designers and creatives at an agency or as part of an in-house design team, you'll learn a lot from them. Or maybe your goal is not to get hired as a motion designer, but to use motion design for something specific, like creating animations to add to YouTube videos. No matter what your goals are, once you've established the foundation by learning the fundamentals, it's time to make the work that you want to make. Having the right mindset and expectations is important here. Your work likely won't start out as good as you imagined or wish it was. That's an unavoidable part of the process. Expect it so when it happens, you'll be able to push through. And just like anything worth mastering, motion design takes a lot of practice. Whether you get that practice at a job or not, I would highly recommend creating personal projects. Personal projects allow you to experiment and try new things. By trying things and seeing what works, you can start to develop your own unique style and taste. Plus, when you work on self-directed projects, you can do things that you're passionate and excited about, which helps with motivation and actually getting things done. Personal projects also help develop problem-solving skills. No one goes into an animation project knowing exactly how everything will work from the start. When you have an idea, but the first thing that you try hits a roadblock, there's usually another way. There can be trade-offs, but there's almost always a way to create what you imagined if you can be creative and problem solve. This is an essential skill that separates novices from experts and comes with practice. But doing only personal projects can be problematic. If you start with personal projects, it's easy to get overwhelmed. It can be hard to come up with project ideas when you don't know what's possible in the software. Or you might come up with a project idea that's way too big and challenging, which can lead to overwhelm and abandonment. Plus, if you only do personal projects, you'll likely have gaps in your knowledge without even realizing it. That's why taking a quality course to properly learn the fundamentals is the smartest way to get good at motion design quickly. It's tempting to skip this step and dive into making things that look cool. But it really doesn't take that much time to go through a course and learn things properly. In the scheme of things, you'll spend the majority of your time working on personal projects and paid work. As soon as you have some completed animations, whether they're personal projects or work you were paid for, the next step is to create a portfolio. When you put your work online for the world to see, it significantly increases the chances that the right person will see it and hire you to create something similar. But let's be realistic, the internet is massive. Simply putting up a portfolio is probably not enough. But it's a great place to send people when you meet them. It's often required when applying for jobs, and it's definitely essential if you want to cold email someone and offer your services. Certain sectors of the motion design industry, like advertising and marketing, will be expecting to see a demo reel. Clips of your best work put together into a short video. But if your value lies in using motion to communicate, like if you create explainer videos, for example, a case study can be a more effective way to showcase your skills. While a demo reel shows what you can do, a case study shows how you think. And increasingly, especially in the age of AI, the thinking is what a lot of employers are actually hiring for. Also, social media is a great way to get your work in front of more eyeballs to potentially find paid work. Motion design has no finish line. The best designers are always learning, experimenting, pushing the boundaries, and developing complementary skills. Once you're decent at 2D animation in After Effects, you could branch out into 3D software, learn video editing, explore motion for UI and UX design, get even better at illustration, or develop script writing skills. And those are just a few ideas out of many possibilities. It's also critical to build soft skills, things like communicating with clients and coworkers, setting project goals, expectations, and timelines, asking for and giving feedback, time management, presenting your work, and networking. So if I had to rewind my life and learn motion design from scratch, that's how I'd do it. Focus on learning After Effects, take a course to learn the fundamentals, keep learning with self-directed projects, learn how to use the principles of animation, learn how to communicate through motion, get experience through personal projects and/or jobs, build a portfolio, and finally, keep learning by developing complementary skills and soft skills. I hope that was helpful. I created a free guide with all the things to learn. If you're ready to take the first step and learn After Effects from the ground up, check out the course. Both are linked in the description.